Peace and love, Black family. For some reason, the video looks very dark. Okay. The Facebook video looks relatively dark. Why is that? Well, we're going to proceed. Yesterday, or the day before, I attempted to present a video on leadership lessons for young revolutionaries and organizers within the conscious community, particularly looking at the generation of Black leadership, the up-and-coming generation of Black leadership from age 17 through 37. And that video was interrupted because the Wi-Fi suspiciously went down out of the blue. So I am going to spend the next 45 minutes or so giving out a little bit of wisdom to the next generation of organizers and revolutionaries, the 17 to 37-year-old group or crowd. That's who I'm going to be speaking to. I'm not sure why. The video is kind of, I don't know why the Facebook video looks a little dark. The Instagram video looks fine, but nonetheless, we're going to go forward. So the first lesson that I want to give out today to young organizers, and I believe that this may be beneficial to any African, regardless of age, regardless of profession, regardless of what you're doing with your life. So you can take and apply these lessons as you deem necessary and fit. Lesson number one is the pursuit of information. The pursuit of information. I don't have to spend a lot of time on this one because I think the Black conscious community does a very good job in pursuing and disseminating information. We have thousands of YouTube videos. We have documentaries coming out every year. Books are written every month. There's always radio shows to listen to. So I think in terms of the pursuit of information, we're doing good. However, for you young brothers and sisters out there who are serious about organizing and leading our people, when I speak of the pursuit of information, I'm saying that you have to be very well read, extremely well read. And when I speak of being extremely well read, I don't just mean about ancient history. Okay, I want to be very clear about that, because when we talk about being well read, some of us think we're talking about the past. I'm not just talking about the past. The past is clearly a significant part of your pursuit of information, but I'm also talking about your mastery of contemporary political science. Your mastery of contemporary political science will be just as relevant, just as critical, and just as important as your mastery of your ancient African history. Don't be historically intelligent and politically stupid. I repeat, don't be historically intelligent and politically stupid. You must be both historically intelligent and you must also be politically intelligent. You must do both. Not only should you only read Black authors, you should also take the time to study and investigate white authors. Not everything that needs to be read is written by a Black hand. Not everything that needs to be read is written by a Black hand. So you're going to find yourself reading as much from white authors as you will find yourself reading from and about Black authors as well. So pursuit of information not only means book study, in journal study, it also means you must be a regular connoisseur of daily information that's going on in your city, your state, your country, your region of the world, and of course on an international level. Okay, you should be reading at least one global newspaper a week, and you should be reading your local news organ every single day. I repeat, you should be reading at least one global newspaper every week, and you should be reading at least one local newspaper about what's going on where you live every single day. Okay, very important. You must be up to date on what's going on around the world, because what is happening around the world can affect your strategy, your tactic, your vision, your purpose, your goals, your mission. Okay, so don't be book smart, okay, but contemporarily dumb. You must master the past and the present if you plan on mastering the future. You must master the past and the present if you plan on mastering the future. So principle number one is the pursuit of information. Get it however you can get it, and don't just read it from one source. Be knowledgeable about what's going on in the world. Be knowledgeable about what's going on in the world. Number two, build your inner circle very, very slowly. Build your inner circle very, very slowly. Build your inner circle very, very slowly. Okay, many of our great leaders were betrayed by people within their immediate circle. Many of our great leaders were betrayed by people in their immediate circle. I don't care if you're talking Kwame Nkrumah. I don't care if you're talking the Honorable Marcus Garvey. I don't care if you're talking Dr. Martin Luther King, if you're talking Malcolm X. Okay? I may have mentioned Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba. All of them were betrayed by people in the inner circle. If you happen to be popular, okay, there's going to be people always trying to penetrate your inner circle. Okay? You must investigate them thoroughly to make sure they want to be a part of what you're doing for the right reason. There are opportunists lurking around every corner. There are opportunists lurking at every lecture. There are opportunists lurking with every project that you're trying to put on. One of the things you're going to do or going to have to do is you're going to spend a lot of time. You're going to spend absolutely a lot of time investigating people who are trying to be part of your inner circle. Be very patient, very selective. Get to know them well. Make sure they earn the right to be in your inner circle. They don't get to be in your inner circle just because they show up. They don't get to be in your inner circle just because they support your vision. They don't get to be in your inner circle just because you grew up with them from childhood. They don't get to be in your inner circle just because you guys are ideologically homogenous. Study them well. Even Jesus Christ was betrayed by his inner circle, Judas. Okay, so please build your inner circle slowly and make sure the people that you have in your inner circle can get the job done. Not only must you be able to trust them, but they must also be useful to the mission. Not only must you be able to trust them, they must also be useful to your mission. They must be trustworthy and they must be practically useful to what you are trying to do. If you cannot trust them, they should not be in your inner circle. And if they don't bring anything to the table, likewise, they should not be in your inner circle. Okay? Also, once you let them in, you must continue to study the people in your immediate group because they are the ones most likely to betray you and they are the ones who are most likely to do the most damage. Let me say that again. The people in your inner circle are the ones most likely to betray you and they are also the ones most likely to cause you the most damage because they know you well. Okay? If you are a brother, if you are a young brother, you must be very vigilant about studying the brothers around you. Okay, because the black man suffers from a castrated ego as a result of white supremacy and systematic oppression, they are very quick to turn envious on you at a drop of a dime. If you are a young brother, be very careful about the men in your circle. If they see you getting a lot of attention, a lot of eyes from the women, a lot of accolades, it is very easy for a brother who isn't secure in his skin. It is very easy for a black man who isn't comfortable with his own life to turn jealous of you very quickly. Same thing for the young ladies. Those other women who you're organizing with, okay? If you're very popular, if you get a lot of attention from the brothers, be very careful of those sisters, okay? Because if they're not comfortable in their own skin, if they're not content and comfortable with who they are, they will be the ones most likely to betray you. Watch people's body language. Body language, okay, is very difficult to be hidden. You can't keep your true beliefs secret forever. What people feel about you will come out in their body language. Study your inner circle. They are a bigger threat to you than any outside enemy. Okay, the people in your inner circle are a bigger threat than you than any outside enemy. So study them well. Third principle for young leaders and organizers. This is Dr.Umar Johnson, just giving a quick summary of an upcoming book I'll be working on for young leaders and organizers, Young Revolutionary Handbook, Lessons from the Battlefield, from the Prince of Pan-Africanism. Third principle, keep your cards close to your chest. No one in your movement, no one in your organization should know everything about the mission. The only person who should know everything about the mission is you. Be selective in the information you give people. I don't care if they get angry because they don't know everything. They're not supposed to know everything. As the late, great Dr. Huey P. Newton said, information is disseminated on a need-to-know basis. Information is disseminated on a need-to-know basis. Everyone doesn't need to know everything. If everyone knows everything, that's one of the quickest routes for your mission to be sabotaged before you achieve your goal. Okay? So learn to keep your mouth shut. This includes even from the person you are sleeping with. This includes even from the person you are sleeping with. Why? Because everybody got somebody they like to run their mouths to. Everybody got somebody who likes to run their mouth. And that person has somebody who likes to run their mouth. And that person has somebody who likes to run their mouth. And before you know it, entrusting your secrets in one person, they end up around the entire community. The essence of strategy and the essence of military science is deception. Keep people in the dark as long as possible so you can achieve your goals. Keep your cards close to your chest. Number 4, your choice of a mate is a revolutionary decision, not just a romantic one. Your choice of a mate is a revolutionary decision, not just a romantic one. Your choice of a mate is a revolutionary decision, not just a romantic one. Brothers, you can't choose your queen just because she's attractive. You can't choose your queen just because she has natural hair. You can't choose her just because she got a nice body and she talking hotep talk. I can tell you, sisters know how to put on a very good facade of being exactly what you want until they get you, and then the real shenanigans comes out. Sisters can do a good job of putting on a facade, acting like exactly the woman you need them to be, okay, until they infiltrate your system, and then the real shenanigans comes out. The same thing with the young ladies. The same thing with our organizing sisters out there. Sisters, be careful of the man you're with, okay? As women follow the men, if you settle down with a coon, it will compromise your work. How can you battle with a coon at home and then come into the community and organize us along revolutionary lines? Okay, you can't. A house divided cannot stand. And the main house that you cannot afford to be divided is your own mind. The main house that you cannot afford to have divided is your mind. If you have to deal with a coon at home, how are you getting the necessary rest, rejuvenation, support, and peace of mind to come back into the community and organize the coons in the hood? If you got to fight with a coon at home, you're not going to have any energy left to fight with the coons in the hood. Choose your mate well. Okay? Remember, many of our brothers were infiltrated by the enemy through the woman they slept with. Many of our sisters were infiltrated by the enemy through the man they slept with. Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mother, okay, was hooked on crack by Legs McDaniel, a paid undercover FBI agent, was responsible for hooking Afeni Shakur on crack. One of the women Huey P. Newton dated was an undercover FBI agent. Former mayor of Washington, D.C., Marion Barry, was infiltrated through the woman he dated, who was an undercover operative. You must be careful of the people you date, okay? And I'll just be honest, brothers and sisters. In the age of social network, you have so many attention-hungry people out here who are more dedicated and loyal to being seen than seeing the movement succeed, that they don't care about you or your mission. They will tear it all down if they don't get to be with you. They don't care about you or your mission. They will tear it all down if they don't get to be with you. So please be very, very circumspect of the men and women who you choose to engage on a personal, romantic level. Principle number 5. Master the art of propaganda. Master the art of propaganda. The Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said that propaganda has destroyed more people than open war. Propaganda is the science of using the media to bias the beliefs and opinions of people. Propaganda is the science of using the media, internet, magazine, newspaper, radio, movie, even church. I look at church as a form of media, okay? Because information is disseminated through church. In fact, I think church is one of the most powerful forms of media. Propaganda is the strategic use of media to bias the opinions of men and women. One of the greatest propaganda campaigns conducted against African people over the past 500 years. One of the greatest propaganda campaigns conducted against African people over the past 500 years has been the propagandized idea that we cannot overcome white supremacy. That has been instilled in us through church. It has been instilled in us through school. It has been instilled through us and our parents, through black organizations, TV and radio. Everywhere you look, black people for 500 years have been brainwashed by the media into believing that we cannot overcome our current predicament. Propaganda is more powerful than weapons. More powerful than weapons because it makes you give up before the guns even show up. Propaganda makes you give up before the guns even show up. Propaganda makes you give up before the guns even show up. You must master the art of propaganda. And 2 of your most effective propaganda tools will be what? Your voice and your ink pen. The 2 most important propaganda instruments of a liberation leader and organizer is your voice and your ink pen. Your oratory. Oratory is very spiritual because when you speak from the heart, that is a divine responsibility. You must develop your public speaking skills. You must develop the ability to capture the minds and imagination of African people in 5 minutes. You must develop your persuasive ability skills. You have to persuade our people to take liberation seriously. You must persuade our people to join you in this revolutionary work. You must develop your oratorical skill. Some people are born with oratorical genius. Marcus Garvey was born with oratorical genius. Malcolm X, Dr. King, Frederick Douglass. Those are probably 4 of the greatest orators we've ever had. I believe I was born with oratorical genius. No one trained me in the art of public speaking. I've been a public speaker since elementary school. Some people are born with it. Others have to develop it. So whether it is a talent or whether it is a skill, skills you develop, talents you're born with, and whether it's a talent or a skill, you have to develop your oratorical skills, and you have to develop your writing skills. You have to develop your writing skills because as an organizer, you're going to have to put together a website where you will blog, or a magazine, or a newspaper, a radio show. So you must perfect the art of persuasion through the written word. The written word is simply an extension of your mouthpiece. The written word is simply an extension of your mouthpiece, and you must develop the ability to persuade our people into Black liberation consciousness, more specifically into Pan-African consciousness, with both your oratory and with your language skills. Okay, the written word is powerful. Okay, through literature and oratory, you must be able to persuade. So develop them both. Develop them both. All great organizers published newspapers. And although websites are very popular today, I think we need to go back to the newspapers. Why? Because websites can be shut down. Websites can be shut down. The written word cannot be stopped. There is no way to stop the written word. Even when they banned the Marcus Garvey's Negro World in Africa, it was still smuggled in. Okay, whenever they banned Frederick Douglass's paper, it was still smuggled in. It is very difficult to stop a printed word. It is very easy to stop an electronic word. Okay, so I think we need to go back to newspapers. In fact, I'm going to be launching a newspaper soon myself. Okay, so people can see exactly what my thoughts are. The Facebook lives are good. The Instagram lives are good. The lectures are good, but I need a newspaper. Okay, an organ where I can disseminate the message of Team Pan-African and the international movement for the independence and protection of African people, unbridled and unfiltered. You say the wrong thing on Facebook, they ban you. You say the wrong thing on Instagram, they ban you. Okay, they cannot ban the printed word. So make sure you master propaganda. First of all media is propaganda. There is no such thing as objective media. All media is propaganda. There is no such thing as objective media. Every time you watch CNN, headline news, Al Jazeera, when you read the New York Times, USA Today, every piece of information printed comes from a certain perspective and has a certain agenda. All propaganda has an agenda. There is no such thing as objective information. Please be clear about that. So principle number 1, pursuit of information. Principle number 2, build your inner circle slowly, because the ones closest to you are bound to betray you. The Judas factor is very real. The Judas factor is very real. Number 3, keep your cards close to your chest. Olokun style. Olokun style. Olokun is the deity of the deep waters of the ocean. Olokun's domain is that deep, dark part of the ocean that has never ever been investigated or even seen. Olokun represents the metaphorical principle of the unknowable and unfathomable universe. Keep your cards close to your style, close to your chest, Olokun style. Number 3, get you a ride or die queen, get you a ride or die king. Get you a ride or die queen, get you a ride or die king. Very important. Very important. Okay? Okay? Very important. And I can tell you, without going too much into it, because I don't like to discuss my personal life anymore, but one of the reasons I'm not married is because many of the queens that I've encountered during these 8 years since I came to the attention of the International Black Consciousness Movement, 4 of the main challenges I've had with Black queens. Number 1, confidentiality. They talk too much. Okay, can't wait to tell people they know you personally. Very big problem. Okay, a woman with a big mouth is a dangerous woman. If you can't trust them with small secrets, you can't trust them with big secrets. A woman with a big mouth is a dangerous woman. If you can't trust them with small secrets, you can't trust them with big secrets. Number two, insecurity. As a black man organizer, as a black woman organizer, your mate has to be secure in their skin. If you are a female organizer, you're going to draw the attention of men. If you're a male organizer, you're going to draw the attention of women. And the person you dating has to know how to conduct themselves in a public sphere without looking insecure or getting jealous or feeling the need to exert their will in your public life. Your partner needs to understand that when you are carrying out public works for the people, when you are carrying out public works for the people, that is not the place and time for them to be trying to let anybody else know they are with you. And I've had to disqualify a lot of queens early in the process because they don't know how to get somewhere and sit your ass down. Okay? Number three, a lack of emotional discipline is dangerous political. A lack of emotional discipline can be very dangerous politically. Very dangerous politically. And then the fourth issue is emotional thirstiness. Some people need so much emotional thirstiness that they cannot date a revolutionary. If you need the attention of a woman 24 hours a day, if you need the attention of a man 24 hours a day, don't date a revolutionary. There is nothing more unnerving to an organizer than to be constantly bothered by complaining comments about how you're not making enough time. Of course, I'm not making enough time because my first wife is the struggle. You're the second wife. My first wife is the struggle. You're the second wife, which is why organizers make terrible mates. You have to come to terms with that. And the person you're marrying has to come to terms with that. Organizers make terrible husbands. Organizers make terrible wives because they are married to the struggle first. Romance is not a priority. So please make sure when you're dating and when you're screening your potential husband or wife, make sure you do a good job. Okay? Make sure you do a good job. Moving on. Know your weaknesses because they will be used against you. Know your weaknesses because they will be used against you. Principle number 6, know your weaknesses because they will be used against you. If you are a marijuana addict, the FBI will poison your marijuana. Your haters will use your weed pickup spot as an opportunity to assassinate you. If you love alcohol, they will poison your alcohol. The FBI psychologically profiles every black organizer. I have already been psychologically profiled. They know my strengths, they know my weaknesses. That goes without saying. And we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, but we must be conscious of them and we must be vigilant in working to master and subdue those weaknesses. I don't have the common weaknesses. Okay, I'm not a smoker, I'm not a drinker, I don't party, I'm very much old-fashioned. Okay? So it'd be difficult infiltrating my life because I don't have any of the vices that a lot of people have. Okay? So whatever your vices are, you need to learn them and you need to master them because the FBI is going to psychologically profile you and they're going to use your weaknesses against you. Okay? The number one vice that they will try to use against me is the fact that I'm single. I'm not married. So 9 times out of 10, they'll try to get to me through a woman. They'll try to get to me through a woman. So you have to already know how they're going to try to come to you. You already know. You have to already know how they're going to try to come to you. See, if you have a fetish for white girls, they're going to get you through the white girls like they did Bill Cosby. Like they did Bill Cosby. I don't date outside my race, so sending a white girl is going to get them nowhere. They're going to send an Afrocentric queen to try to get me because it's the only vulnerability I have. Know your vulnerabilities and then seek to destroy them. No one's perfect, but you must always strive for perfection because you have a bullet's mark on your chest. You are public enemy number 1. Okay? Know your weaknesses. Principle number 7. The manager's job is to get the work done. The leader's job is to chart the course and determine the vision. You must see further than everyone in your organization. You must see further than everyone in your organization. You must be a visionary. Marcus Garvey knew in his mind what a free Africa looked like before he even started working for it. I know in my mind what the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy is to look like before I even start working on it. I knew in my mind what the National Independent Black Parent Association was to be before I ever held my first meeting. You must have the vision. Without a vision, you don't know where you're going. Without a vision, you don't know when you achieved the goal. Without a vision, you can't properly develop the objectives and the strategies and the tactics that you're going to follow to get to where you need to be. You must be visionary. You cannot be a leader if you're not visionary. If you don't know where we're supposed to be going, if you don't know what the end goal is, if you don't know what the target is, you can't be a leader. Because the leader holds a vision of something that does not yet exist. A free and redeemed Africa does not yet exist. So you must have the vision in your mind. And then you must constantly seek to imbibe everyone in your movement with that clear vision that you have. You must instill the picture of the vision into every one of the people who are following you and working with you. You must teach them to see it before they even achieve it. If you can't see it in the mind, you'll never see it in the flesh. If you can't see it in the mind, you'll never see it in the flesh. I recommend that you meditate on your visions for 1 hour a day. I recommend that you meditate on your visions for 1 hour a day. I recommend that you meditate on your visions at least 1 hour a day. Brothers and sisters, you're listening to Dr. Umar Johnson, Doctor of Clinical Psychology, Certified School Psychology. I'm live and direct in London, England. Had a good day today. Just came from visiting the London home of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, where he lived the last several years of his life and where he died. I just visited the home of the Honorable Frederick Douglass, where he lived from 1845 to 1847 while he was here in London on the run as a fugitive slave. I also visited the home of one of the fathers of white supremacy, psychologist Francis Galton, who was the father of eugenics. So I visited the home of 3 very notable historical personalities. 2 are probably my greatest heroes, and then 1 is one of the greatest enemies of African people. Meditate on your vision for at least an hour a day. I will be speaking with the great Muta Baruka from Jamaica. Muta Baruka and I will be speaking in London this Saturday, November the 3rd. We will be speaking in London this Saturday, November the 3rd. Doors open up at 6 o'clock. You can get your tickets at SiriusTickets.com. You can get your tickets at SiriusTickets.com. SIRIUS Tickets.com. SIRIUS Tickets.com. When I get back to the United States, I will be speaking possibly at the Nat Turner Land for the ancestral celebration on Sunday 11/11, which is the anniversary or memorial of when Nat Turner was killed. He was hanged 11/11/1831 after leading the most revolutionary and successful slave revolt in American history, which took place on the day I was born, August the 21st, and he was ultimately hanged, martyred on November the 11th. So on November the 11th of 2018, Elder Khalifa will be hosting the ancestral celebration to pay homage to the prophet, Reverend Nat Turner, and all of our other heroes and sheroes throughout the African diaspora who were fundamental in the fight for African liberation, equality, justice, and freedom. So I encourage all of you, if you've never been to Nat Turner Land, if you've never taken the tour, please go to Nat Turner Land. If you need the flyer, you can email me for it, text me for it. You can WhatsApp me for it if you need to reach me by text or WhatsApp. It's 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858. I will be in Wilmington, North Carolina for the 120th anniversary of the Wilmington Race Riot. The new date is Sunday, November the 18th. I repeat, the new date for Dr. Umar's debut lecture in Wilmington, North Carolina to commemorate the 120th anniversary of the Wilmington Race Massacre will now be Sunday, November the 18th. The tickets that you purchased for Saturday, November the 10th can be used for Sunday, November the 18th. I repeat, the Wilmington tickets for Saturday, November the 10th will be good for Sunday, November the 18th. And then I'm back in Africa. I am back in Africa in the Gambia with our good holistic doctor and master teacher, Dr. Laila Africa. We will be in the Gambia November the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, okay, for the International Vegan Festival. I'm looking forward to building with our brothers and sisters in the Gambia for the International Vegan Festival. Then I'm in Jamaica, Queens, New York. Okay, Jamaica, Queens, New York at the Jamaica Performing Arts Center, December the 2nd. Jamaica, Queens, New York at the Jamaica Performing Arts Center on Sunday, December the 2nd. And then Chicago, Illinois at the Harold Washington Center. Chicago, Illinois at the Harold Washington Center, Friday, December the 7th. And then in Detroit, Michigan on Saturday, December the 8th. Chicago, December 7th. And Detroit, December 8th at the Public Library on Woodward. Suffolk, Virginia, December the 20th. Atlanta, Georgia, December the 22nd. Suffolk, Virginia, December the 20th. Atlanta, Georgia, December the 22nd. Detroit, Michigan, December the 29th. Detroit, Michigan, December the 29th. Dallas, Texas, December the 30th. Dallas, Texas, December the 30th. If you need tickets for any of these events, you can email me, DrUmarJohnson@yahoo.com, DrUmarJohnson@yahoo.com. And then New Year's Eve, Brooklyn, December the 31st. And then the National Independent Black Parent Association Leadership Training for those of you who want to build chapters, help us build chapters of the National Independent Black Parent Association. Come to Philadelphia on Saturday, January the 5th. Get the training. We need to help our parents. We need to help our parents fight against miseducation and injustice in the school system. I need you to come to Philadelphia and get the training and help us fight to eliminate racism in the schools, in the areas of special education, school discipline, school policy, school finance, parent advocacy, social support. We need to fight to save our children. And then I'll be speaking in Philadelphia the very next day, Sunday, January the 6th. So come and get your training on January the 5th, and then I'll be speaking on January the 6th in Philadelphia. Chattanooga, Tennessee, January the 18th for Dr. King celebration. Chattanooga, Tennessee, January the 18th for Dr. King celebration. Okay, I'll be in Swaziland, Southern Africa, on April the 6th, Swaziland. So brothers and sisters, that's the current schedule. If you'd like to invite Dr. Umar to come speak, if you would like to invite Dr. Umar to come speak at your church, prison, library, for your event, family reunion, conference, seminar, you can send that email request to DrUmarJohnson@yahoo.com. Again, send that to DrUmarJohnson@yahoo.com. Let's get back to the Young Leadership Handbook, Principles for Young Revolutionaries. Okay. Principle number 8, train your lieutenants. Train your lieutenants. Train your lieutenants. Your lieutenants must know what they're living for, what they're struggling for, what they're working for. You can have people who just are starstruck with your mentality or starstruck by your celebrity. okay? Because you can go to jail. You can die in this work. You need people who can continue to push forward. If your lieutenants, if you were to die and you're not confident that your lieutenants would carry on the work, they shouldn't be your lieutenants. If you go to jail and you are not confident that your lieutenants are going to carry on your work, then they shouldn't be your lieutenants. Your lieutenants should be intoxicated with the mission, not intoxicated with you. Your lieutenants should be in love with the mission, not in love with you. In love with the mission. They should protect you for sure. They should be loyal to you, but they should be loyal to the mission first. Train your lieutenants. If they are not trained in this work, they will either betray it or drop it the minute you disappear from the scene. If they are not in love with this work, they will betray it or drop it the minute you disappear. Train your lieutenants. Only have a few more principles. Let me grab something to drink. Check my texts real quick. Again, if you need to reach me, add me on WhatsApp, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. Okay. Grab something to drink. Shout out to the brothers and sisters who make the NFG drink. Shout out to the brothers and sisters who make the NFG drink. They gave me some in Birmingham the other day. Shout out to them. You know, want to make sure we support black business, support black business. Once we open up the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, we're going to make a store. We're going to be selling all the black products we can possibly sell to help us raise money for the school. So if you make anything black, okay, sooner or later, we will be putting together a master black merchandise product and service booklet. Anything black in one booklet. Shea butter, clothing, okay, herbs, a master black product guide. So if you want to buy black, it will all be in the same spot. Yes, indeed. Got to get that ginger. Got to get that ginger mixed up in there. Okay. Principle number 9. This is important from an organizational standpoint. Listen up, young revolutionaries and organizers. Listen up, young revolutionaries and organizers. The next principle is the principle of no permanent alliances. Listen to me, young people. Do not ever commit to a permanent alliance with any other organization. Never. Because if that organization betrays the people, it will reflect negatively on your organization, and it can affect the people's trust in your movement. Never, ever build a permanent alliance with another group. Yes, you can collaborate. Collaborations are fine. Collaborations are fine. Collaborations are fine. I don't mind if you collaborate, but do not build a permanent alliance, okay? Because people will try to use you to further their own agenda, even though they don't believe in what you're fighting for. I could write a whole book on the individuals and organizations that try to infiltrate or co-opt Team Pan-African and Dr. Umar for their own personal, selfish agendas, caring nothing for what we were working for. Okay? Do not let your organization get co-opted by opportunists and rival groups. Because if you are powerful and influential, no doubt they will come for you. They will look to take over your movement. And if you are weak enough to let them operate unchecked within the ranks of your movement, they will co-opt it for their own personal, selfish agenda. Yes, you can collaborate. Temporary alliances are fine. Temporary alliances are fine. Permanent coalitions are a no-no. Temporary alliances are fine. Permanent coalitions are a no-no. Principle number 10. Build you a trustworthy council of elders. Build you a trustworthy council of elders. I have a council of elders. I have always had a council of elders. In the UNIA, I had a council of elders because the UNIA was ran by elders. But since I resigned as Minister of Education for the Garvey movement more than 10 years ago, I built a council of elders for Team Pan-African. And guess what? No one knows who they are. And they don't need to know who they are until the time is right. And not all of my elders are Pan-Africanists. My two main elders are Moors. My two main elders are Moors. Okay? I have elders from different persuasions because I'm looking for the wisdom and the guidance. They don't necessarily have to be ideologically homogenous with me. You got to be ideologically homogenous to be in Team Pan-African, but you don't have to be ideologically homogenous in order to give me guidance and mentorship. Most people think Dr. Umar just out here running, doing his own thing. No, I got queen mothers and babas. I got babas and mamas who I check in with, have lunch with, sit down and spend a whole day with, run things against them, get their input. And they call me up and they give me a spanking when I need a spanking. They call me up and say, why you responded to that coon over there? Everybody know he's an opportunist. Why you responding to that coon over there? All he do is scream and shout. He don't do no work. Why you getting involved with these low-life Negroes? I get spankings from my elders. You don't know who my elders are. You don't need to know. It's none of your business. Okay? But if you're going to be out here in this work, you need to build a council of elders. And none of my elders are, mainstream conscious community elders. Because I don't think I could trust any of them. I'm just keeping it real. I don't think I could trust any of them. Okay? My elders are in the cut. In the cut. They're not attention seeking. You understand? They're in the cut. So I don't have to worry about them being aroused in envy or jealousy or none of that type of stuff. Okay? Okay? Next principle. Learn how to control your ego. Learn how to control your emotions. People are going to walk up to you and they're going to insult you because they want to see whether you are humble or egotistical. I've had elders test me this way. I've had elders come up to me and say some insulting things, and sometimes I don't even think they meant it. They wanted to test my humility. And you must show the people that you are humble. I've had people come up to me and say, I don't believe in what you stand for, or, I don't think you should have called her a maggot, or they say things that are either irrelevant or they may disagree with a certain tactic or strategy. I've had elders come up to me and say, we should love all people, white folks too, and I don't have any problem with having a white wife. And you have to stay there and say, elder, I love you. I respect you. I've had sisters come up and get mad at me because I say black women shouldn't have processed hair, that every black woman should be nappy, and they come and they get mad and they yell and they scream. And I learned as a psychologist that not every attack is personal. A lot of it is just pressure and pain that they need to get out. So you have to stand there and you have to take it. You got to stand there and let them insult you in front of people and take it. When I was on the Roland Martin show, I wanted to smack the shit out that coon, but I couldn't. I had to show humility. I was on national television. I couldn't respond with ego. I had to respond with humility. And that's an everyday struggle. But you got to become humble. You're not going to be a good leader if you can't humble yourself to the people, because a leader serves the people. A true leader serves the people, and you have to be able to humble yourself to the people. Okay? Because you can't serve two masters. You can't serve yourself and serve the people. I'm going to tell you that right now. You cannot serve yourself and serve the people. An egotistical leader is serving himself. He's not serving the people. And you know why? Because when somebody comes along who can do what you do better, how do you respond? If somebody comes along and does what you do better, how do you respond? If someone comes along and does what you do better, how do you respond? Do you assassinate them? Do you embrace him? Are you jealous of him? Do you keep him out of your organization because he's a better speaker, better organizer, better writer? How do you respond when you meet new revolutionary talent? Do you embrace them or do you run? If you embrace them, you are a leader who's leading with love. But if you reject them, if you run from them, if you try to start a character assassination campaign against them, then you're leading with ego. There's a prominent elder in the Black consciousness movement right now, very prominent, who I respect, who has something negative to say about me every time he gets a chance. All of y'all know who he is. I'm not going to call his name because I still love and respect him, and I don't need any war. We don't need a repeat of W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey. We don't need a repeat of Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. You see? He has an ego problem. Okay? And I'm choosing to deal with him in all humility. You must lead with the heart, not with the ego. That is Eurocentric. And Eurocentric leadership will never benefit African people. A Eurocentric leader cannot bring about African liberation. Okay? So please check your ego and lead with humility. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve yourself and serve the people. Number 12. Don't be afraid to get rid of bad apples in your movement. Number 12. Don't be afraid to get rid of bad apples in your movement. Number 12. Don't be afraid to get rid of bad apples in your movement. I have been guilty of this. I have been guilty of this. I have been guilty of knowing there were people who meant me no good, and I let them hang around because I thought I could change them, or I thought everybody else was strong enough to resist them, and I was wrong. I was wrong. Please, when you find that somebody doesn't mean you no good, doesn't mean your movement any good, they're only there to steal or sow seeds of dissension or steal your members or turn them against you or co-opt your movement, get them the hell out. A bad apple, one bad apple will spoil the whole bunch. Here's what I learned. Here's what I learned. Our people are so susceptible to negative energy. Our people are so susceptible to negative energy. They are so influenced by negativity that you cannot give negativity 1 second of life in your movement. I have seen it. Our people are weak. We are very weak, and we don't know how to stand strong in the face of negativity. And after being in your organization for a couple weeks, they will start turning people against you. I have seen it. Our people are weak-minded. You have to protect them. I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but our people are weak-minded. You must protect them from the negative apples out there, brothers and sisters. You must protect them from the I learned it the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way. I didn't know that grown black folks could be that easily influenced by negativity without proof, but they are. But they are. Look at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey campaign. Look at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey campaign. Look at how many people were influenced by a few haters. There was only about 5 key haters in that whole campaign. Only about 5. And look how many people they were able to draft without any proof or no evidence. No proof whatsoever of wrongdoing. But just because they had something bad to say, people joined in on the bandwagon. Please protect the hearts and minds of those in your organizations, especially the young ones. Especially the young ones. Okay? Brothers and sisters, I was supposed to be on the Breakfast Club last week. Brother Charlemagne invited me to be on the Breakfast Club last week. And I got stuck in traffic and couldn't make it. They had to push the time up. It wasn't totally my fault. They pushed the time up on me at the last minute, but I also got stuck in traffic. So the reason you haven't seen Breakfast Club Part 4 is because of the traffic. But when I get back to the States, I'm going to text the good brother Charlemagne and see when they can get me back on the Breakfast Club for that much anticipated 4th interview. Okay? Don't be afraid to get rid of bad apples. Number 13. Number 13. Number 13. You must stay spiritually grounded. You must become spiritually grounded. This is a very, very lonely road. There is no leader who didn't have to walk that path alone. At the end of the day, it gets lonely. At the end of the day, it gets very, very lonely. You must be spiritually grounded. What I got? I got the Holy Quran with me. I got the Bhagavad Gita with me. I got the Holy Bible with me. And I also travel with the Odu Ifa because I am an Ifa devotee. That is my primary spiritual system, but I will study any spiritual book. I travel with the Tao Te Ching on my phone. I travel with the Dhammapada, the sayings of Buddha, on my phone. My most important text is the Holy Odu Ifa, which I misplaced, the copy that I love the most, the translation that I love the most. You got to stay spiritually grounded. Okay? My Earth Day resolution, August the 21st, my Earth Day resolution was to pray at least once a day. My Earth Day resolution, because I got to build back up that spiritual strength. You need it. People will tear you down. You wake up every day and you got somebody saying something negative about you and people spreading lies about you, right? People trying to destroy you. You got to be spiritually grounded. You have to be. I ain't say you got to go to church. You ain't got to go to the mosque. You ain't got to be a Muslim. You ain't got to be a Christian. You don't have to be an Ifa devotee. You don't have to be in voodoo. You don't have to be a Rasta. You don't have to be Nation of Islam. You ain't got to be a Hebrew. But you do have to be spiritually grounded. You do have to be spiritually grounded. You must be spiritually grounded. You must. I wouldn't trust a leader or organizer who don't have God first in their lives. I wouldn't trust a leader or an organizer who don't have God first. I just cannot. I just cannot. If the higher power doesn't operate in your life, I cannot be a part of that movement. I just cannot. The black man is God, I understand. But please don't confuse You being God with the supreme God consciousness that runs this universe, because you did not create the sun or the moon. You did not create the planet. You did not create the water. You did not create the oxygen that we breathe. I understand the black man is God, but let's not confuse you with being God with the true supreme Godhead of the universe, because that's not you. That's not you. Okay? So if you don't believe in the supreme rule, I don't care about your religion. Okay, I don't care about your religion. That means nothing to me, okay? I respect all religions. As Pan-Africanists, we believe in religious freedom. So I ain't into the religion. I'm saying spiritually grounded, because you could be into the religion and still not be spiritually grounded. I know people who know this Quran front and back and they're not spiritually grounded. I know people who know this Bible front and back, but they're not spiritually grounded. I know people who even know the holy Odu Ifa, but they're not spiritually grounded. Don't confuse the two. Don't confuse the two. You must be spiritually grounded. And then the 14th and final principle. The 14th and final principle, you must cultivate divine fearlessness and supreme self-confidence. You must cultivate divine fearlessness and supreme self-confidence. You must cultivate divine fearlessness and supreme self-confidence, because people are going to try to knock you down. People are going to want to steal your confidence away. People are going to want to make you afraid of fighting against racism, white supremacy. Okay? This is truth. This is truth. You know how many people ask me when I travel, they say, ain't you scared of being murdered? Aren't you fearful for your life? Everywhere you go, you got people reminding you that what you're doing could cost you your life. I already know that. I don't need to be reminded of it. We have to stop trying to instill fear in each other. Listen, in case you don't know, in case you haven't heard, some of us are going to have to go to jail for African liberation. I don't know what type of imaginary, illusionary, revolutionary path you think we're going to walk, but some of us going to go to jail for black folks to be free. Some of us going to get killed in order for black folks to be free. Do you know that it took the Neanderthals 500 years to dominate this planet? Through blood and weapons, 500 years. And do you think you're going to overcome that without some of us dying and some of us going to jail? I don't live in no dream world. Jesus is not coming to save black people. Moses ain't coming to save black people. Muhammad ain't coming to save. Krishna ain't coming to save black people. Ifa ain't coming to save black people. God Almighty isn't coming to save black people. The only thing that's going to save black people are black people. And you will have to sacrifice for your liberation. You will have to sacrifice for your liberation. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to hear it, because black folks don't want to sacrifice for nothing. But you will sacrifice for your liberation, brothers and sisters. And that's why you must cultivate fearlessness and supreme self-confidence. Fearlessness and supreme self-confidence. Fearlessness and supreme self-confidence. In fact, one of the things I do when I pick up the Bible and the Quran, brothers and sisters, I read it from a revolutionary Pan-Africanist standpoint. Okay? And what I'm probably going to do later on is I'm going to come back and I'm going to read some chapters of some of these books from a revolutionary Pan-Africanist perspective. Okay? But for now, I want to wrap up. I just wanted to give y'all that, just a little bit to meditate on and study and think about and expand and grow upon. Okay? I'm going to turn that whole thing into a book soon. But I just wanted to give y'all that for now. This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism, live and direct. Black London, Black England, Black Britain, Black UK, Manchester, Luton, Wolverhampton, Brixton, Leeds, Liverpool. Stand up. I will see you all Saturday, November the 3rd at the Lighthouse here in London, 6 p.m. Peace and Black Power.